Hi guys, Kim here. Welcome to Backyard Blooms. In today's video, we are going to talk about roses. Now I know there's a lot of videos out there right now about pruning roses, but however, I'm going to give you my little take on it because some of you may have not watched the prior videos. I know Jenny with Creekside Nursery just had like a really good video on how to prune roses, but I am going to talk about it as well. But I will link her video to the end of my screen if you would like to have more information about pruning roses. So I know at first it seemed a little bit intimidating, but it is very easy. So don't be scared, don't be fearful, just kind of like go into it, get you some pruners or some loppers like I have right here. For bigger roses that have been established, these loppers are like so much better than these small Felco 2 pruners, which I love as well. And I like, if you're looking for some Felco pruners, I like the number 2s. That's just my preference. Love them. So anyways, I am going to use the David Austin book as a guide. So every year, the David Austin prints out a handbook for roses for 2025. They have lots of great information. So if you want a David Austin rose, you can pick out your rose. It tells you what zone it grows in. It tells you what's color. It tells you what the habit is. But in the very back of the book is so much useful information. So it has like rose care in the back of the book here. And then it even gives you like breaks down in zones if you don't know your zone. Like I am a southeastern zone. So here's the zones right here. It breaks it down for you. It doesn't really go in zone like zone 4, zone 5, zone 6, 7, whatever. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, zone 8. And I live right here. So I'm in the southeast division right here, which includes Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Arkansas, and Louisiana. So there is a little closer up of your zones if you don't know that. But anyways, I believe if you can go on the David Austin website and request one of these books if you have never received one. And I believe this book is also on their online as well. So if you don't know what zone you are, this is a quick guide to tell you what your zone is. I am southeast. So going on to the next page, then it tells you your rose care calendar. So let me find my southeast. So right here, it gives me my rose care. And it's like, you don't have to like, it takes all the guesswork out is what I'm trying to say. So for southeast, it says to prune in January. So I'm at the end of January, so I'm still in my zone. Now, if you don't get it done in January, like guys, don't freak out and don't fret. Just get it done when you can. Just make sure you prune your roses, because when you prune your roses, you're going to get more prolific blooms. I promise you. Roses need to be pruned, and it's good for them. And it like, you're able to take out like some of the dead and crossing branches and just make that rose overall healthier. Now in February, as soon as I see the growth start to come out, I'm going to go ahead and feed it. So that's kind of pretty close for me. I'm going to feed it and mulch in February. And then March and April, I'm going to spray when a canopy of fresh green leaves has appeared. Now spraying is, for me, is more preventable for like black spot and any kind of diseases. So that's when I'm going to spray, is March and April, and then it goes on throughout the year and it gives you exactly what you need. So this book is awesome. It also goes over like your watering requirements and spraying, feeding, mulching, deadheading, that kind of thing. And I talk about this as I go out the season too, because I do like love my roses. It also talks about disease like black spot, powdery mildew, rust, and then it talks about like aphids and that kind of thing too. So this is just like a really, really good, knowledgeable book. And look at these blooms, you guys. Aren't they all gorgeous? Like, how can you not love a David Austin rose? You have to have a David Austin rose if you have never gotten one before. So right here is my rose garden, and it's a formal rose garden, and I have 4 different types of roses, and I still wanted to go on to that hot pink, light pink. So that's all my roses that I chose to go in this garden are very similar to those colors. Now I think it would have looked glorious if I picked one rose and put them in all 4 quadrants, but I like a variety, I'm sorry. So anyways, I have a variety and I love this formal rose garden. So what I want to talk about, when I was figuring out what kind of scripture I wanted to do today, I looked in the very back of the book and it had like a couple verses on pruning, but they didn't really relate to what I was talking about today. So I looked up fruitful was one of the terms. So I looked up and I found there was like probably about 10 different verses on being fruitful. But I found one that I really liked, and this one is in the book of Matthew. A tree is identified by its fruit. If a tree is good, its fruit will be good. If a tree is bad, its fruit will be bad. You brood of snakes, how could evil men like you speak what is good and right? For whatever is your heart determines what you say. A good person produces good things for the treasury of a good heart, and an evil person produces evil things from the treasury of an evil heart. And I tell you this, you must give an account on Judgment Day for every idle word you speak. The words you say will either acquit you or condemn you. So I was really hoping that in my study guide of my Bible that it would give me some extra knowledge about what to say about this verse. But however, I feel like that my blooms are going to be the fruit on my rose shrubs here. By me pruning them, I'm going to get more blooms. But however, I think a lot of it speaks about what comes from your tongue. And I'm always telling my kids, be careful with your words, because sometimes when you think it doesn't mean you need to say it, even though you're thinking it. Because I think sometimes over here you got good and then you got evil. We're always battling good and evil. So be really careful about what words you speak and what the words come out of your mouth, because when you bring them out of your mouth, then you're bringing intuition for it. And God clearly says here that you're going to be judged on all your good and bad things that you do in life. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that it was a great word for you and that it helps you be more accountable from here going forward about being careful what you say with your words. And I've been really guilty about that myself. I've let some of my words slip back. When I used to not say things, I'm saying things now, and I probably need to be more held accountable myself. But anyways, we are going to prune these shrub bushes so we can get more fruit/blooms from our roses here. So I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that and how I do that. And I've got a shrub rose, I have a climbing rose, I have a rambling rose, I have old roses that have been in the ground for 4 to 5 years, and I've got roses that have been in the ground for 1 year. So I hope this video gives you some inspiration and that you learned something. And we're just going to say a little prayer over our roses today. So Lord Jesus, we are going to prune these roses today in our gardens, protect our gardens, and let us have lots and lots of blooms from them. Protect them from disease, from insects such as aphids and that kind of thing, and let's have a glorious, fruitful, blooming year with our roses this year. Amen. Okay, step number 1 before you do anything with your roses, like I said, I got loppers here for my big roses that have been in the ground for a long time. And if it's got a diameter bigger than a pencil, I promise you want to use this. And then I have my Felco 2 pruners, but I also have something to disinfect my equipment as well. You don't want to go from rose to rose without disinfecting each rose before you do that, because you might, if it does have disease, then you don't want to spread the disease from one rose to the other, or even from one quadrant to the next. So make sure you just give it a quick little swipe of some kind of disinfectant. Alcohol works fine, alcohol wipes would work fine, but this is just what I had on hand today. So this says it kills 99.9% of germs, including COVID-19 which I'm not really worried about that. I'm just worried about spreading disease. Okay, so in this garden, it talks about 1-year shrubs and 2-year shrubs. So I'm going to talk about what is in a 2-year shrub. It says cut back by half and any particularly long stems to shape your shrub. That's for a shrub rose. Now a climber, which we're going to get to, climbing rose, you want to reduce the length of flowering side shoots to a few inches. And then ramblers, we're going to thin out shoots as necessary. So step 1 is cut back any disproportional long stems in line with the rest of the plant. So I have, you can see behind me, I have lots and lots of long stems. And then step number 2 is cut back stems. How much you cut them back depends on the age and type of your rose. And it says see the table, and I already talked about 2+ years. And then when we get over to my 1-year rose, I'll talk about that. And then step 3, cut out any dead, diseased, or damaged stems from their point of origin. And then step 4, remove any remaining foliage and dispose of all cuttings in garden waste. So I have black spot, so it's better just to dispose of this into your trash can versus putting it into your compost, because you don't want to get your compost like diseased with like fungicide, with stuff with fungus such as black spot. So that's a great tip. And then we're just going to disinfect our pruners and my loppers, and then I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to prune these roses back here. And this one is called Eustasia Ave, by the way, and I've already pruned 2 quadrants, and I'll go over that as well in this video. So I'm just disinfecting my loppers because I'm going to use these more than anything, because my shrubs are at least 4 to 5 years old and the diameters of them are quite bigger. But this is how I'm disinfecting my loppers. And then we're going to disinfect my pruners as well, my focal 2 pruners. Now we get to pruning. All right, so I hope you can see this really good. But this one right here has a really, really long cane, and I'm going to probably cut it off maybe right here. So first I'm cutting off all the really long, disproportional limbs. All right, now I'm going to kind of shape up my rose to about the length that I want it. So I think for this one I'm going to cut here. This one right here is completely dead. I hope you can see that. Let's see. So I'm going to cut it all the way back, all the way down to here at its origin, all the way down. You need to go get me some gloves. So you can see right here, see that dead, see how it's brown and it's not red like this. Hope you can see that. Dead, healthy, dead, healthy. All right. Now, it's controversial that a lot of people say that it doesn't really matter how you cut, just cut. But if you want to be really, really particular, you want to get right in front of a bud like this and then cut kind of like at an angle. But for me, I've done it both ways and it didn't matter. So if it doesn't matter, I'm just going to get it pruned. This one's really thorny, by the way. This is dead right here, so I'm going to go all the way back to the origin and cut out the dead. I need to get at a better angle. This one's dead too. Ouch. Look what I just did. That's why you need to wear gloves. Ah, ouch. Let me just go get my gloves. This one's really small, so I'm going to get rid of that because it's small. This one's teeny tiny and dead. This one's dead. Get these out of the way so I can see what I'm doing better. Okay, so this one's small, lesser than a pencil. So we're getting rid of those. This one I'm just going to cut off. This one's dead. You can even tell that it's dead because do you see there's no green in the middle there? So let me show you one that looks green. All right, do you see how that's green in the middle there? So that's another good way to tell. You see how healthy it is? Green, it's even like got some red on it, and then it's green in the middle too. Where this one's not. Can you see the difference there between the two? Of course, this one is my real long one that I got rid of right there. I think this one's dead right here too. Take it all the way back to here. You see, no green. And then I also like to get all of the leaves that are around it all the way picked up too. So we're going to clean all these leaves up as well. This one right here needs to be cut. So you want to make sure you have no foliage on it whatsoever after you start pruning it. Get all the leaves off and then pick up all the leaves that are on the ground too, such as this right here. Not all of these are rose leaves, some are from my crepe myrtle, but you want to make sure you pick it all up. So you can see I have my little pop-up bag here, and we're just going to pick up all these leaves and throw them in the pop-up bag. And I need to be really careful about not stepping on my alliums right here because they're already starting to come up. I forget about that right there. So these are the ones that I still need to do. And this is the one that I just finished. See how I made good cuts right here? So that's pretty proportional. I'm really happy, I think, with the shape of this rose and how it's going to grow. So if you want to, like in the middle, you can keep your stems just a little bit longer and then go shorter and shorter to kind of make it like rounded. So I got to work on these three right here and then get all these leaves picked up. So let me show you the two quadrants that I've already finished. All right, so this quadrant right here is my Gabrielle oak, and I've got 5 roses in there. This one is really prickly, but you can see how I've got them all pruned back here. Let me bring it a little closer. Just to kind of give you an idea. Now this one right here, I missed this one. I probably should go back and cut this back to here because this is dead. Do you see how it's brown? I need to cut it back to right there. I just missed it before. Same with this one. This is dead. I can probably cut back down to here. And that one over there looks pretty good. You see my alliums coming up right there. Now I do want to share with you while I'm here, let me swing around here. I've had a lot of problems with this sprinter boxwood and it kept on getting blight, but you can see how it's just not super healthy. And then like right here, this is like completely dead. It's crispy, so that's a whole leader. And I've just been cutting it off and cutting it off. See how this one looks totally different? But I need to come in here and just pull this whole shrub up and put a new one in. Thankfully, I have one about that size up in the front of the house. And then let's go to that quadrant over there, that's Boscobel. All right, and here's Boscobel. And I've got 5 in there. And I actually have some tall verbena in here too. I'm wanting to try it to see if I like it. Last year when I planted them, they didn't do all that great, but maybe since it's the new year, they'll do fine. But that's my pruning back on Boscobel. And then I've got this other quadrant over here to do, and this is Alexandra of Kent over here. Looks like something's been digging over there. You know, I planted an allium over there and I think something dug it up. Shoot. Okay, now this is my climbing rose, and this one is a yellow rose. And I did prune this one. I've got 2, one on each side, and I did not prune that one. So let me go over the one that I've already pruned. So what you want to do is come all the way down here and look at your main canes that are coming off right there. And then you want to follow them back up until you find a little side shoot like this one. Come over here. And then you just want to leave a couple inches. Now you already see how I already got some new growth, so I could go ahead and fertilize if I'd like for my zone. And then the next shoot, just a couple of inches. The next one, just a couple of inches. And then at the very tip top, I did prune just a little bit to cut off the foliage. Now coming over here, this one, all this foliage has to come off. So what I'm going to do, what I think is the easiest to do, is to come back all the way down and look at your main canes that come off from here. So like this one. So this is a main cane and this is a side shoot. So this one we need to cut about right here. So what some people do you see this little bud right here and this little bud? They like kind of cut right above that little bud like this at an angle. So that is, if you want to be particular about it, you can. Like I said, I've done it both ways. Now I need to pull this one out. Okay, so I'm going to keep going up this one right here until I see another little side shoot, which is, it's going in. I'm not really crazy about that. And then all the way up, these are all going in. We're going to cut up here, this little side shoot, and then I'm going to just take off the very tip top, like so. And then I'm going to just continue following these canes, starting from all the way to the bottom and going all the way up and doing the same. So like this one was a couple of, not quite a couple of inches, but do you see how this one's crossing over into that one? So I don't really want that one here at all, so I'm just going to cut that one off. Same with this, it's kind of crossing inwards too. So if they're crossing and hitting each other, then you want to remove those. Like this is a little side shoot, so we'll cut it to 2 inches. Same with that, and the same with this one. All right, so I'm going to get at it and finish, and then I'm going to show you my end results. Okay, so that is what I cut off here. I'm sorry if you hear, that's not my dog, it's the neighbor's dog barking. But these main canes going down from the bottom, that's what they look like. I probably could cut that a little bit more. Let's just do that. Just a couple of inches there. So a couple of inches, and then some of them, like here, I may have cut the main stem and I should not have. So then I have side shoots. So I'm just keeping the side shoot. But if you're pruning like a brand new rose, try not to cut the tops of the main ones like that, because then you're just gonna get like a main side shoot. Now I have, and Jenny said this before too, these roses won't like intertwine themselves up against the thing like some climbing vines. So I just have some little, I don't know what you call them, little, they got wire in them, but it's supposed to be like soft to the branch right there. So I'm like tying them off and trying to train them up. So this one's new. I just started this last year. So that's why I think I'm gonna get a lot of growth off of it this year though. And that's what this side looks like with these little side shoots right there. So that is how you prune a climbing rose. And if you like this art, you can get this art off Amazon, and I'll have the link on Amazon for you. I like it because it's got that little gate, and it just kind of makes it like a little room, like you're entering into a room. See? This is my little room back here. This is my little pop-up bag, and I really like this one. It's called the Sleek Garden, right here, Sleek Garden. So if you don't have a little pop-up bag, it does come useful. And I'm just kind of cutting these up into smaller pieces because I'm gonna actually put it in the trash bag, trash can. I just feel like they fit better in the trash can when you cut them up smaller. Now these canes aren't that wide because, like I said, it's less than 1-year-old rose. And this one is a real pretty yellow rose, and it's called the Pilgrim from David Austin. Okay, now I'm in the west side garden, and I just planted these shrub roses last year. This one is called Munstead Wood. It is a gorgeous, deepest red bloom that they have. So for the first year for a shrub rose, you want to cut back flowering shoots to 12 to 18 inches from the ground. So here's my flowering shoot, and I'm going to say 12 to 18 inches is about right here. And we're just going to try to train the rose up. So this is my guide right here, and then I'm just going to try to make it mounding, which the side shoots here are more probably taller than my middle. So, but anyways, I'm just going to cut it back 12 to 18 inches. And I already sterilized my Focal 2 pruners for this rose. And since it's only a 1-year rose and the diameter of it's pretty small, I can use my Focal 2 pruners. About 12 inches. I'm going to go right above my plant stand right here. So look how thorny that is, you guys. Can you see? I'm going to go ahead and grab this one too. Might make it just a little bit taller than the other one. And then anything that's like real small diameter, go ahead and get all that off too. See how small it is? The reason why you want to cut the small ones off is because you just don't want to put energy into the small ones. All right, and then of course anything dead, cut it off. I do have some daffodils coming up right here. I want to be careful not to step on those. Make sure you get all the foliage off. So this one's kind of crossing over, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one. I like to make everything go out like this. All right, so there you go. So nothing's crossing. I don't see anything else dead. And we cut it back 12 to 18 inches from the ground. And I've got 2 more to do. All right, so I gotta be careful. I still have some daffodils coming up. I got some right there. All right, you guys. So this is a rambling rose. And oh my gosh, this is like, it's already caught me and attached to me. This thing loves its space. Like, it is out of control, you guys. Just way out of control. So this is the same. Your side shoots you're gonna cut. If I kept my canes as long as they are, like, I would never be able to get them trimmed. So I like to use, like last year, I used the length of this trellis right here and kind of cut off at that length and let everything else grow, because like I said, this thing is crazy. And this one is called, I'll throw the name up. I just went blank. My mind just went blank. All right, so same thing. Go up, this is your main leader, and then start cutting just a couple of inches with the main leaders right there. That way it'll give you a couple of blooms down here too. I have lots of main leaders, as you can see here. So I'm just gonna follow this one up and go all the way up and start cutting my any kind of little side shoots there. And then anything that's dead, of course, cut that too. Anything that crosses. Ouch. They do make rose gloves. I had some last year and they got wet and it just ruined them, so I need to buy me some more. This one's dead. Same thing, I have these tied up on the trellis too. This trellis came from Home Depot, or no, Lowe's. It came from Lowe's. And I just zip tied 3 of them together to make it a bigger impact. I'm gonna get all this foliage off right there. That's dead, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off right there. All right, so a couple of inches. I'm going to try to get rid of this one. This one's dead too, I think. No, it's got buds, but I'm going to get that off because it's crossing. All right, now this one, dead. Dead. Just get all these little things off here. This whole thing's dead, so I'm just going to kind of come back to that. All right, this one up here, we're going to cut here. And then it forks off here, so I don't really want all that to fork, and I'm just going to cut it off right there. All right, guys, so you got the gist of it. I'm going to keep pruning here, and then I'm going to come back and show you the end result, okay? All right, guys, I got half done, and the other half is not done. This half's not done. That half is done. But anyways, I ran into Dawn, and she wants me to go for a walk, so I'm not going to pass her up because it is 63 today. It is so beautiful. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something. I hope you liked my little Bible verse, and make sure you say your prayers today and pray over your gardens. I'm praying for gorgeous blooms come April or March. It's going to be gorgeous, and I am going to fertilize soon, and as soon as I grab all my stuff that I'm going to fertilize with, I'll do a little video about that. So if you like all these blooms and you like all these prayers, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Welcome to the jungle.